right, here we go. It's another episode of Stadium Sessions. It's Crowder's new sports podcast show. I'm your host, Ryan Land, and how's everybody doing today? Hopefully pretty good. This weather's been pretty nice lately, so. Amelia, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good deal. I see we have a special guest in here today. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Hannah. Hi.
She is one of my right-hand ladies. She's cool. I like her. She helps me produce the shows.
I like her too.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot going on in the sports world this past week. We've had baseball, the playoffs are starting, football's still in full swing, college and pro. NASCAR's still going pretty strong, so it's quite a lot going on in the sports world. And we also have a lot going on here at Crowder as well with the sports, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. We also have we're going to talk a little bit more about the baseball postseason coming up that starts October 1st. And Amelia, you're into a lot of baseball, aren't you?
I watch baseball.
Okay.
I'm a Cards fan, and they're going to the playoffs. I am super excited about that.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up later in the show. So stick around. Stadium Sessions. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Stadium Sessions. It's Crowder's new sports podcast show. Hannah, are you having a good time in here?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit of Crowder sports. The Crowder softball team hosted the Fall Classic over the weekend, and they played against Northwest Arkansas Community College from Bentonville, Arkansas, as they defeated them in both games. The Lady Riders will travel around the four-state area this fall to do scrimmages before they return home to host their alumni game later on in October. The Crowder soccer team also hosted St. Charles Community College over the weekend. It was a tie of 1-1 after double overtime. That was the score. They traveled to Arkansas City, Kansas tonight to take on Cowley County. Game time's at 7 p.m. And then they're on to Kansas City to take on Maple Woods. And that game is scheduled on Saturday, this Saturday actually, at 2 p.m. So the team now stands at 5-1 overall this season. So, and then the Crowder baseball team will be hosting Connors State tomorrow at 1 p.m. That is here at the baseball field here at Crowder in Neosho. So lots going on in the sports here at Crowder College, and basketball starts up here in the next couple of weeks. They'll be doing some scrimmages in Springfield and Kansas City. So should be an interesting season as they have a lot of new players on the team this season. So it's going to be something to watch for and see if they can defend that season they had last season. So something to look forward to. Well, coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about the postseason baseball, which begins next week. So stick around. There's more Stadium Sessions coming up after the break. Hey, welcome back to Stadium Sessions. It's Crowder's new sports podcast show. So I'm sure you're pretty excited about the Cardinals going to the not World Series, but the postseason.
The playoffs. Yeah.
They'll probably eventually get to the World Series. I hope.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amelia.
I think they've got a good chance. They are a dedicated team, and even though they'll have changes, or they'll have some of their best players on the DL list, they still pull through. They still fight. I mean, we saw it last year and the year before. I mean, they fight until the end. They don't give up. So,
who was that one player that does play for the St. Louis Cardinals but was injured, so he played in nearby Springfield for the minor league team?
Was that?
I think Chris Carpenter.
Yeah, I think.
I don't really follow much of the St. Louis Cardinals. I know. I'm sorry to say this, but I really don't watch much baseball as I should. But I do like baseball from time to. I like any sport from time to time, but I don't really watch too much sports because I'm always so busy.
Well, yeah, and I haven't been keeping up much on the Cardinals. Like, I'll see Facebook statuses, or I'll get notifications. But other than that, I haven't been watching. I've been so busy with school and work.
So I personally hope that the St. Louis Cardinals does win the World Series. They're my pick. So, But anyway, the postseason begins on October 1st with the NL Wild Card games, and those games take place on the 1st and the 4th. And the World Series will begin on Wednesday, October 23rd. And if there is a game number 7, if it turns out to be that way, that game's going to be scheduled for Halloween night. So that's going to be pretty fun to watch. So trick-or-treating or watch baseball. Which will win?
I would watch baseball. We also do have the Halloween dance that night. So, you've got 3 things to pick from.
Well, and actually, last year here at Crowder, there was a dance around that time, but I heard that a lot of people were watching the game there in the Student Center.
So, yeah. I wonder how the turnout will be.
Yeah.
If it goes to Game 7, which is always fun when it does.
They're going to be dancing and watching baseball. That's going to be a party.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, all games will be broadcasted on TBS, Fox, or the Major League Baseball Network. And I actually read on MLB.com that most of the games will be on, leading up to the World Series, will be on TBS and the Major League Baseball Network. And then the World Series is always broadcasted on Fox. So expect a pretty good show coming out of this postseason.
It's gonna be awesome. I love it.
All right. Well, coming up next, we'll wrap up the show, and we'll talk a little bit about why we didn't interview the Crowder September Century Sports MVP. And we'll also give a little bit of info about a possible celebrity guest coming to our show. So stick around. Stadium Sessions will be right back. Hey, welcome back to Stadium Sessions. It's Crowder's new sports podcast show and Crowder's only sports podcast show. There we go. Hannah just counted us down back to our segment. So, Hannah, I guess you're now the producer of this show.
Pretty much.
All right. And Amelia is just, I guess, the job shadower, playing the role of the job shadower this time. Well, anyway, we were supposed to have the Crowder Century Sports MVP for September here, Jose Valdez, but we haven't been able to really communicate with him, so he was unable to actually be here. So I don't know if we will ever be able to get Jose into the studio for an interview, but we're going to go ahead and start the October Century Sports MVP voting. And that will start, actually, I think this Friday is when we're planning on getting the polls open. You can vote in the Neosho Crowder cafeteria or the bookstore here in Neosho. Or you can also vote online at www.crowdercentury.com.
And it's at the bottom. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see the poll.
Okay. And also when you're there, catch up on all of our stories that we publish in the paper and some of our online exclusives. You won't be wasting your time when you're on Century.com.
You won't.
Also, we have a big announcement coming up. We might possibly have a big sports celebrity coming on Stadium Sessions. So I can't tell you any more, but you'll find out probably next week. And I'll actually go ahead and give you a hint. He is a pretty big named coach in college football. We'll just say that. I'll leave it at that. Well, Amelia, Hannah, did you guys have a good time today?
Oh, yeah.
I always have a good time.
Good deal. Well, thanks everybody for joining us here on Stadium Sessions, and we will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody.